Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Growing the Seeds for Your Digital Revolution with Modern Capture. I'm Teresa Resick, Director of Webinars here at AIIM, and AIIM is your host and producer of today's event. And with me today are Thomas Lamont of AIIM and Hugo Pacheco of Papersoft DMS. And Papersoft is the underwriter of today's webinar, and we thank them for their support. And thank you for taking the time to join us today. And as we get started, I just want to offer a few pointers for viewing today's webinar. By joining our webinars live, you can customize your own viewing experience, so feel free to open, close, or resize the different windows. And across the bottom of your screen is a list of all the widgets available to you. We do have a feature for you to use called the group chat, and you can open that by clicking on the widget icon that's in the bottom of your screen. And with this, you can be able to chat with each other and also with us here at AIIM staff. And everyone will be able to join in that conversation together and interact with each other. So I encourage you to participate in group chat. But you can also ask questions for the speakers throughout the hour using the Q&A feature, and that's located to the left of your slide area. We will hold these questions until the end, where we should have about 5 or so minutes to answer them. And you can also use this feature to comment or ask for technical assistance. You can download a PDF of the presentation at any time. Just look to the resources list. There are also a few other documents and links in there to help you learn more about today's topic. At the end of this webinar, a brief survey will open in your browser, and would appreciate it if you take a few moments to offer your feedback and suggestions, and also suggest other topics for us to cover. And you can also access this survey in those list of widgets across the bottom at any time. This webinar is being recorded, and it will be posted to AIIM.org's Resources Webinars page in just a few days. So right now I want to take this opportunity to introduce the speakers we have with us today. Thomas Lamont is AIIM's Market Intelligence Analyst, and he's well-versed and credentialed in the fields of ECM, ERM, and BPM, with a heightened focus on solving the operational problems of today's businesses. Globally recognized as an industry thought leader, Thomas's opinions and views are highly sought after by business organizations of all sizes, from both the consumer and supplier communities. And we also have with us Hugo Pacheco, and he is passionate about design thinking, change management, and enterprise process automation. With more than 10 years of experience delivering projects worldwide, he helps to build customer-centric strategies, closing the gap between people and technology. Currently at Papersoft, he leads content services initiatives using technology to automate unstructured content processing, creating new services, adding value to information, and reducing costs or risks. And right now, I want to turn things over to Thomas Lamont of AIIM to begin our discussion today. Thomas?
Thank you, Teresa, for that excellent introduction. As you guys can see here, we do have a loaded schedule today, so I'll kick things off. So I figured I'd start things off a bit unorthodox and give you all the bad news up front. Truth is, on all counts and metrics, the current state of digital transformation in our organizations really hasn't been the whopping success that was envisioned 10, 20, 30 years ago. Think of it this way. It's the year 2017, there's no flying cars, there's no time travel, and the majority of our organizations have not fully embraced paper-free business. I'd like to imagine sometimes what a records manager working in the year 1980 would think, how disappointed they would be. The life we all are supposed to be living in 2017 should have been straight out of a sci-fi film. And yet, full-scale enterprise digital transformation would have been the least remarkable achievement of these greater tech, cybernetic lives that we'd be living in the future. But here we are today, and today's reality is that digital transformation, digital revolution, is still an ongoing struggle. And there's many reasons for this. For instance, information sprawl isn't slowing down. The volume and variety of information that enters and exits the enterprise every day has multiplied exponentially. At the same time, change happens even when we don't, and it's all around us, even if we're unwilling or able to accept. New emerging technologies are changing the way we do business, and we need to react to this change to stay competitive, because the competition is fierce. If you're unwilling to take the first step, someone else is right there willing to take it for you. But the good news is that with all this information chaos derives an information opportunity. So some people would have you think that there is this very stark stratification or division when it comes to digital transformation in our organizations. The idea that there's only two kinds of people and two kinds of organizations. We have those that are anchored down, chained to paper processes, like this poor individual here, crushed by the amount of paper in their working life. Or there are kind of paragons of digital transformation, these wide-armed embracing the digital future with cutting-edge ClearDesk environments. But we need to really break from this type of thinking. When it comes to digital transformation, it's not a dichotomy, but better seen as a spectrum. And somewhere in the middle of these two extremes, you and your organization lie. To kind of help better map this, AIIM has created three categories in our latest Industry Watch surveys and reports. And these are Trailblazer, who are the exemplary, leading the way, the early adopters and leaders, and they jump headfirst into the burning edge of tech and what's around the corner. And we have the Citizen group, which is the largest group and the average, kind of the mid-ground. And they usually want to see how things shake out and then act accordingly. Most people are this type of citizen group. And of course, we have the Outlanders, who are below average or falling behind. So with this terminology in mind, think about where you and the community stand and where your organization stands amongst your peers. So let's take a look at the benchmark. So for those of us who have more paper in our offices than we care to admit, just know that you're not alone. In a recent AIIM Industry Watch report, we find that 37% of respondents report that their organizations are piled high with paper and paper processes. And this can be a huge problem. Paper-anchored processes hold down progress by throttling the business to the speed of paper, disrupting efficiencies, burdening workers with manual tasks, and just slowing down our response times, which in this highly competitive space is hugely detrimental. The net result prevents the benefits of any digital business in data-driven ways of working, and then we lose that competitive advantage by not being fully in control of our information and content assets. On the other side of the coin, we know that 25% of AIIM community respondents have reported that they do indeed run a ClearDesk paperless environment. However, of this group, only 19% of the total AIIM community see themselves as trailblazers in integration of capture, workflow, and records management. The reality is that even after achieving a paperless ClearDesk working environment, the digital transformation journey is not over. Information that has been scanned, captured, and made digital is no better than paper sitting in a file cabinet. If you can't search for it, retrieve it, and automate its management, as well as route that information through workflows to supply the right information to the right hands at the right time, it's no better than sitting in a file cabinet of paper. We have to think about digital transformation as just the first step, and it's better seeing this as providing the foundation for digital ways of working. Going digital, of course, is important, but it's what you do after, and it's what you build on that digital foundation that is most important. So at this time, I'll pass things along to Teresa, who has a question to ask the group.
Yes, thank you, Thomas. And we do have a poll question for you. So if you can come up to your keyboards and answer this. And just thinking of being back in school and with the kinds of grades that we would pass out for academic achievements, how would you grade your organization's current digital transformation strategy? And A is the best possible grade that you could give yourself. B, C is average, D, F is failing. Where would you rate yourself and your organization's current digital transformation strategy? I'm going to give you a moment to think about where you are right now and just looking for that initial knee-jerk reaction kind of thing of where you would rate your organization here. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the results here. And Hugo, just taking a look at this, and people see themselves only as average here and even a bit below average. No one's rating themselves higher on that with their strategy. Is this how you're seeing things within your own organization with your customer base?
Yes, thank you, Teresa. So yes, I find this every time interesting because this topic is very multidisciplinary. And so it touches multiple areas such as technology, legal, and compliance. So it's a really business, of course. It's a very wide word to cover it. So it's normal that the can maybe not align with all the department initiatives of the company.
Well, I'm a bit encouraged that people who are here aren't saying that they're failing. So it means they are seeing some positive traction here, but certainly a whole lot of room to grow. So let me go ahead and turn this back over to Thomas to share some more of his insights.
Yeah, thanks, Teresa. And just commenting on that survey, the citizen group has the most, and that type of curve is of course expected and not surprised. The citizen group makes up a large portion of our audience, and this represents the world. You know, most people see themselves at that mid-ground level. And I am also encouraged by those that do talk about places that they fell behind and show that honesty, because that's really the first step to improve. So anyway, what prevents digital revolution? So using this word cloud, we can see that things like management and senior level support are an issue, which comes as no surprise for those who have dealt with those types of challenges. The inability to create a tenable working culture for digital transformation is a huge roadblock to trying to move forward any type of paper-free efforts in our organization. And finally, one of the biggest challenges, of course, is user adoption, change management. It's that human factor. That is usually the main thing that holds us back. Yep, and here it is again. 75% cite change management as a top difficulty holding back digital transformation. Meanwhile, 50% say staff education related to classification and compliance are also an issue. But it really is that top change management level. It's trying to move people forward that do not want to change. It begs the question, are we our own worst enemy, basically, when it comes to digital revolution? But I found that it's not just changing the minds of people that prefer using paper. It's about breaking away from that paper state of mind. And by that, I mean realizing that the same legacy strategies that proved successful in the past to manage paper and digitize content at a rudimentary level are just not good enough to deal with the growing demands and expectations for digital business challenging the industry today. The game has essentially changed. The challenge is that most of our digital tools and our favorite productivity apps have this real-world physical analogous. We think in terms of paper. We have notepads, we have calendars, we have Word documents, things like that. Those are all paper types of, they have these paper origins. And it seems sometimes that we remained locked down to that type of thinking. So in effect, we need to figuratively and literally cut the cord in how we think about digital business and move forward to this more futuristic ideal of a digital business. So with that said, now I'm going to pass the reins over to Hugo of PaperSoft. Personally, I'm very interested in what you're seeing, Hugo, in regard to digital revolution and your perspective on the topic.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas. So a lot of initiatives that we've been seeing in companies that we've been helping on digital transformation steps is one of the topics is that technology won't resolve completely the problem. And a lack of engagement with both people and the processes, they come up with blockers within the way you process information within your company. And so if we go and try to see this in more detail, you can see that with the technology initiatives, you end up with people in the middle doing a lot of transformation initiatives. So putting information on silo databases from unstructured data that is captured. So multiple sources can happen over here. That's related to paper, file sources, or emails, or even new apps that come up within new ways and channels that companies have. But the holistic way won't resolve the problem on end-to-end. And typically, people will end up with the task of converting this data into the end process. This is why you find out a lot of people doing the matching of information outside systems, such as Excel. And a lot of these tasks, since they were not thought in the beginning of the initiative that was designed, they'll lack the proper controls related to regulatory and compliance, and they end up landing on the lap of your staff that needs to then struggle to all the requirements that are necessary to do this. So the change management is an issue, and staff education is complicated because there's a lot of hidden information that can be very valuable, and it's on the entry point, but also within all this process, you're not capturing this information along the processing stage. And this leads you to have insufficient information so that you can build knowledge. And build knowledge is something that is key to build an ecosystem of transformation and framework initiatives. So moving a little bit, when we target and design this initiatives of digital transformation, it's key to have it all. So we should aim for 4 points that I've put it there. So assessing information as easy and fast as possible, put the process as simple and automated so that it will be touch-free if possible, build a remarkable experience for all the ecosystem that is involved within your transactions, because whenever someone asks for something, independent of the system, it needs a reply back. So you want to make something that will match definitely his expectations. And the last one, people and our resources don't want to work in a company from the 60s. They want to work in a company from 2017. And this is one of the challenges that we've been seeing in change management and educating staff, is that they are not involved. There's a lot of knowledge that they have, and since this information is not built and to create knowledge, it's lost during this process. That is why there's a lot of manual tasks, or how we call it, some blockers within the process, if you find in other areas that don't match these 3 criteria. So I'll pass back to you, Thomas.
Yes, thanks, Hugo. So kind of riffing off of what Hugo was talking about here, kind of how do we move forward for people to live in that 2017 type of organization? And the answer honestly relies on a digital foundation. But how do we build a digital foundation? How do we get there? How do we move forward to this new generation ECM? And the answer to that is modern capture systems. Capture in many ways is the starting line to digital transformation. And this will be our angle of entry to building a digital foundation and building off with these true data-driven business operations to support people, as you guys mentioned. And so that's the only way to really galvanize a movement towards, future-focused business or digital business is by supporting our people and having them work in the ways that they want to work. So in terms of modern capture, many of the old rules still apply. For instance, capture still needs to be at the leading edge of a process. Critical content and documents must be managed from the beginning of the digital life cycle, both converted physical content and digital-born data. Both of these types of data need to be accommodated for. And of course, there's many benefits to capture and modern capture. And some of the biggest benefits and drivers for capture, as determined by the AIIM community, include improved searchability and the ability to share content, improved process productivity, reduce storage space, anytime, anywhere content access, better collaboration, and also lessening security risk and better ensuring compliance, which of course is a huge, huge issue today. And this brings us to the 4 pillars of modern capture. This idea that there's these 4 kind of aspects, main aspects of capture benefits that can be sorted into 4 different categories that would best kind of translate the enhancements that a modern capture system would provide. And so we have regulatory compliance and risk management to ensure your business plays by the rules and mitigates its risk surface. We have tactical knowledge management and how information is routed and managed to ascertain value, cost and process efficiencies, working leaner, smarter, with more reuse and less waste, and innovation and new ways of working, adapting to this new world of business and technology with a focus on value, not technology. So we'll start with the first one, which is regulatory compliance and risk management. So, of course, legislative and compliance regulations are constantly changing. It's a very volatile world when it comes to trying to remain compliant with all these different rules and all these different governance statutes and everything that goes on. And at the same time, we are full steam ahead towards the GDPR launch in 2018, which is on the agenda for all European countries that will be affected by these changes, as well as across the world. No matter if you have an organization in North America or in China or what have you, if you do business in Europe, you're going to be affected by the GDPR. And this needs to be a question that you're asking in the organizations. How will we be able to be compliant with the GDPR? You need to be able to be aware of what these changes are going to bring and what you need to do to change certain processes or priorities or even policies in your organization to meet these changes. And of course, data security is hugely important. These days, we don't even need to look further than any popular homepage with news headlines to see why data security matters so much. To these ends, regulatory compliance and risk management, you really need to be able to have a 360-degree view of your processes and operations and where information is. I know it sounds a little bit marketing hokey that way, but honestly, having visibility is hugely important. And today, AIIM Community Respondents say that 39% are challenged with poor insight to their business operation. This is a giant vulnerability. And without having full control of your data, full sight of your data, you can't manage it effectively and you can't leverage its value. It just puts your organization at huge, huge risk. Another enhancement that modern capture systems brings is tactical knowledge management, right? So tactical knowledge management is information, content, and knowledge. It must be shared to those both inside the organization and beyond the corporate walls. Integration is key to augment collaborative efforts. And data silos must be decommissioned and connected, or else we risk blind spots throughout the business. And blind spots, as I've mentioned with risk and compliance, it's not a good thing for that. And it can be a huge detriment to our efforts to maintain compliance, whether it's the GDPR or something else, and also avoid any cybersecurity risk. And integration, of course, is a huge, huge important aspect of all of this. Integration is becoming a differentiator for competitive advantage. How well our systems can talk with each other, how well they can link with each other and bring data from ERP systems to ECM systems, and kind of have an ecosystem of connection can be a huge asset. So today, 38% of respondents say that they now receive more digital invoices than those in paper form. And what this is telling us is that we need specific solutions to accommodate digital-born data. This is the same, again, time harkening back to what I was speaking about as far as the paper state of mind. We need to make sure that our processes and strategies are in place that directly correspond with digital data. The same ways that we've captured and scanned and what have you for paper, it needs to make sure that we accommodate this other type of digital-born data as well. Of course, cost and process efficiencies, which is one of the main drivers for pushing forward modern capture efforts in organizations. A lot of times this is what gets senior level support, this is what gets people's attention, is the bottom line. The money that we'll be saving and the more productivity that we'll have. So modern capture systems create more frugal operations. You can do more with less. We can work smarter, not harder, by automating capture systems and workflow. And there's a real-time data-driven approach to optimizing processes, saving on costs, and becoming more efficient. And a lot of organizations, they've perked their ears up to this. 56% of respondents plan to automate more manual processes, and 30% will update capture systems with better technology. And finally, we have innovation and new ways of working. And this is kind of moving forward to this kind of new generation of DCM. This idea that, and there's a lot of there's some core values to that. One of which is personalization and customizable capture. We need tailored solutions to meet the needs of departments and individuals. This is business critical. Being able to create kind of custom fit solutions that will do exactly what we need when we need it. Workflow automation. The automation of workflows will become standard service and a prerequisite to keep up with more efficient competitors. Seamless integration with existing systems. Business benefits from a single unified view of all information. Again, that 360 degrees of visibility. And integration is rapidly becoming a key source of competitive differentiation, as I mentioned. And finally, we have device agnostic. Professionals need to be able to work in the manner they prefer, and this includes across devices wherever business takes them. The ability to bring your own device, the ability to have mobile access to content wherever you are. It's just how people work today. And organizations need to be able to support that. And our capture systems is really not only the starting line for that digital transformation, but can be the device to get that moving as well, any mobile efforts and things of that nature. And finally, we have kind of new, kind of fresh service architecture, such as capture as a service, and these other alternative architectures and solution configurations emerge. And these are important because they offer new opportunities for organizations that may want to not have an on-prem system or rely on the benefits of a third party. And this is an increasing trend. So in the AIIM community, we know that 37% of respondents report utilizing a third-party document beyond scanning, and 40% of course do more to say in the future. And what this provides us is greater adaptability to evolve, scale, and upgrade the system as needs change, improve accuracy through automation, freeing up labor resources to do more value-add, interesting tasks, and also resistance to volume fluctuations and offload risk, relying on that third party. Okay, at this time, I'm going to pass things along to Hugo. And Hugo, so what are you seeing on the ground? What's your take on all this?
Thank you, Thomas. So you've been mentioning that. So capture is what drives the business velocity. The capacity of resolving the problems at the point of entry leverages your business speed. So digital transformation is not something like a click and a check that you do in a list. It's something that you build on, and it drives capture drives the velocity that you do it. So it's important that you go step by step with something that don't break your processes. So let's have a look. PaperSoft is works with a software as a service approach, also together with a platform as a service infrastructure. So we push the business rules to the entry point, making sure that we avoid to have fallouts handling by the team and avoiding touch-based need to process the information. We also use the request feedback loop, because if someone asks you something in the beginning, it's important that they get back the information to you. So PaperSoft platform is a content suite that has capture solutions using computer vision, such as CAN and other computer vision technologies for automating, extracting data and do classification. We have a business rule engine and workflow behind that will automate the process end-to-end until the delivery of the information into the silo structures. And we also loop in this feedback of the requester. We have storage and retention schedules that help you to storage the information that is necessary, or link it to the structure silos where the information can be stored. On top of this, we have also retention schedules, so you can manage it also both physically and digitally, the documents within PaperSoft. We have a layer of reporting and analytics that help us out to extract data within the process itself and make it easier and within each interaction that we have to look into this information and make it better. We have also a layer of services that allow us to focus on 3 points. The first one is for full outsourcing. So we have adequate staff that is trained with the best practices in the market, including this GDPR that wraps up also the paper initiatives that will help you outsourcing this risk without handling this directly to your task, to the tasks that your employees do. We also have full automation as reconciliation as a service to conclude business logic conclusions that the team would have to validate with multiple platforms, and also as invoice extraction and match rating PO line. We have also a service that we call the digital transformation. So we won't leave you with only the technology and go away. We will help you to analyze the information that the system is being generating and helping you do better interactions within the system so that you can go to the upstream process and do incremental changes within the process, getting much more from the process than simply just deploying technology-focused information. So the checklist for success that we have is it must be simple to use, automate the steps, must live in a secure environment where you can control all the inputs that are happening. The compliance should not be something that you need to teach your staff to do within a specific scope of a process, but should be embedded with the technology that you use. So we are targeting to put all this logic inside the processes that we have. You need to have interoperability with the core so that you can fully automate the process without having fallout handling by your team. And you need to adjust this to an ecosystem, because that's the full target goal as digital transformation initiatives, is to build an ecosystem that you can leverage with multiple initiatives, and you can control the speed of and changes that you have. So moving to the next slide, how do we do this? So we typically set up a business case with the customer, defining target goals that are necessary. These teams typically are multidisciplinary, so they just don't include the line of business or management operators, management team, but also the operators that currently execute this work. And we will help you define the goals that you want to reach and how we can reach it, aligning step by step how this would be achievable. So we collect data as the existing process, and we build up a results framework that we can match as we go along. We do a configuration and user acceptance criteria based on the configurations that we have within our system to make sure that all the expectations are matching the real environments that are necessary. So collecting information during the early stage of the prototyping is key to make this happen and reach the success of the change. And then there's an additional step of closing this to build the knowledge base for the future so that you won't end up in situations where you have a lot of information happening, but you have the information is not being captured in specific procedures. So this on end-to-end basis takes us 15 days to do it. It will depend on the complexity of the projects from 8 to 15. Within our framework, we have an ongoing delivery methodology with a platform pay-per-click logic, and we have transformation checkups that are included in our service, so that we can build a logic of transformation that will help you grow within the information that you have. In some specific cases, it will bring information that you didn't add and control that you didn't have about your existing processes. Some success examples that we have from our customers. So as a first example that I have here, it's a shared service for a food group in UK that they were looking to cost optimization so that they could scale their operation to grow fast. So we're talking about 30,000 invoices on table line item matching rate, information that would come from different multiple sources. And they wanted to outsource this. They wanted to cut with the existing vendor because there was no capability of developing a framework that will help them to build an efficiency logic for the ongoing years. So there was a cutoff date and low information required to the existing process because it was outsourced in the past and there was no low documentation about the process. So we are talking about integration with 5 ERPs. This was a project that took us 1 month to deliver with the 5 ERPs connectors. So what we were doing 3 months after we initiated this initiative was we already onboarded more digital mailroom initiatives that were extended, such as the statements and other document types within the whole organization. So we have a web portal where the users can match all the information online related to KPI metrics that they want to find. So if it is something that came up both on an email or it came up from the paper based, they have all the information based there and they can monitor the service delivery of the information based on that. Now the service automates part of the information, and what closed the gap between system and matching information is that PaperSoft also leverage an nearshore that we have in Portugal that will populate information and make the process better each time that we have an interaction. So within our framework, you're actually sharing the risk that you have when you're doing the digital transformation initiative. So the next steps that we have is now to roll out this initiative to other entities of this group, other companies, and also connect the existing accounts receivable processes with the robot process automation initiative. This means that instead of delivering this to a connector in a CRM, in the ERP, what we are doing is to give this information to a robot that then is going to key in this information as a normal user would do. So once again, what we are targeting is the end-to-end goal of automation. Let's see now another example with another customer. We have another customer that is a big telco in Congo, DRC, so Democratic Republic of Congo, within Kinshasa as a capital, and they had a really struggle with regulatory compliance. So there was an act that imposed to them that they needed to register all the customer base that exists. So we are talking about 10 million in backlog of paper that they needed to recover within a 2-month deadline, and there was also incoming new 1 million registrations per month. So this was a growing pain, and fines would be applicable within after this time period based on audits on the information. So what this telco needed to do was to incorporate not only the ongoing information but a backlog that they had based on paper. So 3 months after we had resolved this issue, and we were working on a different framework. So we started to roll out mobile technology to generate the electronic form within the sales agent itself. So there was a couple of information that we have because we did the early processes related to fraud. So we were able to put technology on top of something that we already knew that was a pain within the business. So technology that helped us identify the fraud alerts on identification was something that was put on top of this. The interoperability with the end customer was also looped in. So we are not only talking now with interoperability with the existing systems, but also with the end customer that does the registration. So this was something that was not covered previously, and it gives a good experience to the customer because we can close the end-to-end onboarding process for and due diligence for a new customer within 2 to 3 minutes. So the analytics monitor also the user behavior that is happening. And so based on this, the commissions for the sales agent is being generated based on this information that is being captured during the onboarding process of the new customer. So as the next steps, we are working with this customer during the form generation based on the information that is captured, both on pictures or data that is automatically pushed into the form. We are adding now the biometric capture of existing customer base. So the plan that this company has is to monetize the database for other initiatives based on financial KYC. So this is only possible because digital transformation is done step by step with information that you gather and make it more robust and better as we go along. So also other initiatives are being rolled out to new entities within the group. So such as, for example, what is very popular in Africa and Asia and South America as the mobile money initiative. That is basically having the ability to use your top-up money to transfer money or do payments within the money that you have in your telco card, SIM card. And so this is only possible because the robustness of the process now matches a criteria of opening an account as a bank. And especially this initiative was really interesting because we are talking about a sales retail agent people that work within this telco and also partners of this telco. And we are talking about sometimes people that are with low degree of education, and this needs to be fast. So it's very important that the technology is not expecting the user to do information out of the system, but helps him to build a more robust process within the system and to avoid to have fallout in the back office. That's the whole target, is to close the process end to end. So as my next slide, I just would like to pause a minute. I think this scope of digital transformation, it has layers of complexity, and targeting easy wins is the key to have this. So Thomas mentioned an interesting view on tactical knowledge management. I think that is a really interesting concept, because we see it as information is growing. Is the most important step that it needs to happen is to build ecosystems where information can be changed. So we are not targeting to build a big building structure that we have anymore, one type silo information. What we are targeting is to have a more environment similar to a bazaar, where information is exchanged, and it needs some flexibility so that your business can adapt, and changes will happen, and volumes will increase, and more than structured information will come. So you need to make sure that you have a structure that is flexible enough so that your business can grow. And so I think this, as the picture shows, is something that is very complex to do alone. So some experts in the area might be able to help you out, and Papersoft is one of the companies that helps out for companies to build up the digital transformation initiative. So we can help you on 3 initiatives: either remove process blockers if you're already struggling with them, and have capture as a service alternatives to capturing processing information using capture and workflow, and also building up this internal continuous improvement framework that we have. We are also launching a new partnership model for regional partners as BPOs or ECM technology based, for outsourcing services for BPO with the same compliance as ISO security of information, building new services based on information that is captured in the process, and also outsourcing process stage to our cloud document services, such as reconciliation and invoicing. So wrapping up a little bit on PaperSoft, we have multiple processing centers in Europe and Africa, and we are certified within the methodology of security of information, and this reach out both our technology and our operation initiatives and methodology that we have for processing information. So we are, our headquarters is in sunny Lisbon, Portugal, and we are roughly 250 employees that process more than 50 million documents over the year. So we have a couple of our customers here on three layers of services that we provide, either digital mailroom classification or auto reconciliation services with invoice processing, and also a full digital experience, such as the example that I just gave it to you that we have in Congo. So wrapping up my conclusion, so there's a couple of initiatives that I think might be interesting for you if you are looking into how to become a data-driven company and don't know where to start. There's a lot of information that Capture can bring onto you, and there's also more information in our website based as ebooks that you can reach, such as how Documents Workflow can help you out on your digital transformation. So if you're interested in having more information about this topic, feel free to go to our website and pick up the how-tos and news about digital transformation initiatives. So I'm sending the presentation back to you, Teresa.
Thank you very much. We've just been listening to Hugo Pacheco of PaperSoft DMS, and before that we were listening to Thomas Lamont of AIIM. And actually, I'm going to before I get to the questions, I just wanted to pop back onto this one slide. Hugo, in the case studies that you were discussing earlier with the great details with what your customers are going through and what their digital transformation journey has been and is and will continue to be, I just wanted to let everyone know that the link on this website that we have right here, there's a lot more really excellent case studies for you to read, and I highly encourage you to come and check this out. And there's just a lot of fantastic information in here, just so you can just see how other companies have been managing and dealing with these challenges and doing it well. And so I just encourage you to check this out, some great resources. And Hugo also mentioned an ebook, and AIIM has just published a new ebook, Papers at the Gate, for driving digital revolution with modern capture. And a lot of what Thomas presented today was information from this ebook. And Thomas, I just wanted to bring you back on and just speak very briefly to the research work that you did here for this paper.
Yeah, sure, Teresa. I have Paper at the Gate, so this is kind of a riff off of the idea of trying to win that paper war. And so we're coming at it with the angle of modern capture again here. So yeah, please, I hope you guys check it out. It's an excellent look at capture and trying to kind of drive our digital revolution.
Yeah, and to actually get a hold of the paper, there is a link in the resources list, so you can click on that. It's going to open in a new browser tab, and you can download it when the webinar is over with. But you can also, when you download a PDF of the slides, that's also in the resource list, that link is there, and so you can access the paper, or as always, go to aim.org/research, and it will be there as well. So a lot of different ways for you to be able to get this paper and see even more information and research from Thomas only scratched the surface from what's in this paper, so encourage you to do that. And I do want to get to the questions that we have here. And in this first question, I'm going to start with you, Thomas, but Hugo, I also encourage you to join in with this. And someone was asking that where can businesses begin? How can they start to move forward in this digital transformation journey, especially if they haven't begun yet or they're just starting to test the waters? And it's basically for those people who rated themselves to that C or D from that poll that we took earlier. Just what are some thoughts and some starting points that you can suggest?
Yeah, sure, Teresa.
Thomas, let's start with you.
Yeah, thank you. We usually recommend when you're starting out, to go for those quick and easy wins. You know what I mean? Or to choose a certain vertical or horizontal in your organization, rather horizontal, such as ARAP, and take a place to trial some paper-free efforts. Just go for that incremental success. Don't try and say, okay, we're going to be all digital transformation. The whole organization is going to be digital going tomorrow. It is a process and it takes time. And the main factor to all of this is to make sure that you galvanize people. People need to be doing things that they want to be doing. So if it's a software or a digital transformation solution that people don't enjoy using, they're not going to be likely to stick with it. And that's how you get things that will stall out or fail. So definitely those quick wins are very important.
Yeah, and it also sounds like getting a comprehensive team together from across the organization so that people can be energized and excited and just kept informed along the way of what's going on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And leadership is very important as well. You need to have, early in the process, make sure that you identify who will be leading this charge ahead. Because without that, efforts tend to dismantle and fall apart.
And Hugo, please, how are you seeing your customers handling this? I'm sure you're encountering many that come to you at this stage of the process. How are your teams working with them and coaching them through this?
There's quick wins that I think are relevant, as Thomas has mentioned. So mailroom initiatives, it's quite fairly easy to set up and start getting a feeling of what kind of information you have around and how you can control it at the point of entry. So to avoid it, to have clogs or blockers within the process that you have. And as you start to iterate with this, you'll understand that there's a lot of more information that you will get from your processes that can help you out on designing either better experience or better services to your customers or partners. There's also other initiatives. So I see a lot of companies that go to approaches of more disruptive innovation approaches. So there's a lot of these initiatives that lend out in being in an area that is not very close to something that is related to the existing business. And there's a very valid information that existing operational people have that are essentially to make the business better. It's very important to involve these people and not just take them away and think that the digital transformation will happen within a mindset of people that may not have the right context of the full information that is happening within the company. So start easy, start with quick wins, get information out. That will help you out on building a new framework. And if a framework and ecosystem are two key points there, because if you have a framework where you can match information, it will be easier for you to design new products or new services that you're targeting, or better experience that you want to have, and not the other way around, imagining what you should be doing. So it's easier to come up with an easy, flexible way to capture and then design forward-thinking ideas based on the point that you are now, without the risk on jeopardizing information that you don't have.
Thank you. And one of the other things I do just want to offer out there to everyone, one of the ways to help you further on your digital transformation journey here is with ongoing training. And AIIM offers a variety of training in person, online. We can customize it by coming to your job site. And even with the value of mentioning the online, because you can just do that at your own pace, a little bit here and there. A lot of different ways that we can help you with this. So I encourage you to come and check out AIIM.org/training, get some more information, talk to a couple of people, either Angela or Michelle here at AIIM, and they'll answer all of the questions that you have to help you find the right training program and training course to get you started. So I do encourage you to check that out. And just wanted to remind everyone that this webinar is going to be recorded, and it's going to be available again on our resources webinars page in a day or two. So come back, listen to it again, and invite your colleagues to listen to it. Also download the resources that we have available to you. And the reminder, when the webinar is over with, that survey is going to open up. Greatly value your feedback and appreciate your comments and your time to that. Very much want to thank the underwriter of our webinar today, PaperSoft DMS. Without the support from our solution providers, AIIM wouldn't be able to bring you these free educational programs. So thank you, PaperSoft, for your sponsorship. It's highly valued. And so as we do bring the webinar to a close, I just want to leave you with our speakers' closing thoughts or a key takeaway from what all we've discussed today. So I'm going to start first with Hugo Pacheco from PaperSoft DMS. Your closing thoughts today.
Okay, so I hope that you had a clarifying session today, and this gets your mind thinking on new ideas. How can capture be an easy way to start and have quick wins on your process? So feel free to reach out to us if you want an assessment with your from a PaperSoft consultant for a checkup on your digital transformation initiative, or if you already have a blocker and you already have a big problem that you want to solve, we'll be happy to start with that and build from that a new initiative of transformation that you can reach your goals and serve better your customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugo. And Thomas Lamont of AIIM, your closing thoughts today.
Yeah, sure, Teresa. I just want to say thank you to everyone again for your attendance today. I think kind of the main thread through this whole presentation is about people, of course. And regardless of where you are on the paper-free spectrum, if you're a trailblazer, a citizen, or an outlander, when considering a transformation to improve the business and build a digital foundation, this effort really needs to be that holistic approach, people, process, and technology. That's what will kind of guide us forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. For AIIM, this is Teresa Resick, and we will see you next time. And have a great day.